Hi, welcome to today's healing. I'm Kristen, and if you're joining me today, that means that you are ready to make a change in yourself and the world around you. We're talking about part 16 today of the Power versus Force book by Dr. David Hawkins, and we will be discussing peace, which vibrates at level 600. Peace is basically unattainable for the everyday person. And frankly, I don't know if I would want to get to that level because there's just a loss of the human side of us. Not that they, become without a soul, just become consciousness. And there is a constant state of bliss. They see the world as slowing down, slow motion, and there's just this sense of a non-reality that everyday people would know. So it sounds a little scary to me, but I'm sure that it is fantastic to get to that point, but I don't think I could ever attain that. And like I said, very few people, a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of people will even attain this. And then they remove themselves from the world for the most part because it doesn't suit them anymore. They can't really interact like the human side of us do. And so they become teachers and of advanced students, and their whole goal is for the betterment of mankind. So, and formal religion is transcended and replaced with pure spirituality, circling back around to where religion originates. So, I've always said, for me anyway, that everyone needs religion to springboard from, but that's not always true either, because there are people out there who have never been to church or really prayed or anything like that can still be at a higher level, out of the 200s. But for me, I feel that you can really springboard from religion. That's what I did, and became spiritual, or let my spiritualness outshine any of the religion that I had participated in my earlier life. So here is where they have no sense of religion at all, and they are just consciousness. Seen as non-rational, there becomes profound silence in the mind which has stopped conceptualizing. The observer becomes one with itself. The observer dissolves into the landscape and becomes equally the observed. Be the observer observing you. And this is what I came to know about over 20 years ago. And I would go into a meditative state, what I call a trance-like state for me. And I would be the observer observing myself. And that really taps into your unconscious, and you can help self-direct, which is very important. It kind of helps you see the clearer picture, because when we are living our lives, like, people outside of us, other people can see what's going on. But sometimes we're not able to see what's going on for ourselves. And if you can learn to be the observer observing you, yourself, then you are able to make big changes and to really see what's happening with you so that you can maybe move in a different direction or make a different choice, which is moving in a different direction. Everything is connected to everything else by infinite presence. This is where no separation. And, I do know that everything is connected, but I don't live it 24/7. I'm still the human side of me too, trying valiantly to make the positive changes necessary to climb even higher. But it takes a lot of self-discipline and fortitude, motivation to be able to reach those supreme higher levels. And it's kind of scary. It is. And like when I am the observer observing myself, that certainly doesn't mean that I'm in peace. That just means that's their constant state. And I can attain this at times when I put myself, like I said, in that trance-like state. So it is possible to, and my goal too is to help mankind. But I'm also the human side of me. So great works of art, architecture, and literature that calibrate between 600 and 700 can transport us temporarily to a higher level of consciousness. And maybe you've seen this in yourself when you read something profound or you see this fantastic work of art and it just transports you. I remember being in the Chicago Museum of Art, one of my favorite places, and standing so close to a Van Gogh, and I just got lost in it. I could see every brush stroke and I could just sense him and feel him painting this, and it transported me to another place. And it's just amazing. And I am a writer, and I do write spiritual stuff, and I'm going to tell you, and then one of my writings that I wrote over 20 years ago. And some of this stuff I write, I'm just like, where did this come from? Some things I write, I can't hardly keep up with the pen and paper because it just comes right out of my head. And other times I have to, contemplate it, think about it, piece it together. But here's and then. Opening to a new day while held within your arms, upon the petals we play so soft, while pillowed by the breeze and blanketed by dawn, to then enjoy the sunlight as it rests upon our thoughts. For to us what this day shall bring, I sing to you, and then your eyes do open to hold the sky that holds the rays of light, enfolding and holding the butterfly whereon the wind she sighs, whilst to each day as she opens each wing, I sing to you, and then. As I wet my lips from the stream I drink, and I breathe without breath as I gasp for new life, in the shade of the tree that bears ripened fruit, I lay my head to the earth and it nourishes me. Then up I am lifted by the gentlest hand, and I am not afraid as I gaze at the eyes of the vast blue sky, where my own eyes hold no existence. I am led to walk with no feet in solitary oneness. I hear with no ears, and I speak with no mouth, and I taste with no tongue, and I feel with no hands, and I shake from a weakened state, as I am embraced in a body formless in nature. And as I succumb to the grandest seducer, I realize the truth in truly never having walked alone. And I I love this one. It is, I, some of the stuff I write, I really have to think about it. And this to me is a sense of consciousness, of oneness with, a spiritual being. And it just really throws me for in a good way, I guess. And I read it the other day after not reading it for many, many, many years, and it just touched me, and it brought me back to what it is that I'm doing and where I'm heading. So think about that, and maybe journal. I journal a lot, and a lot of this comes out of my journaling. And you can really find yourself. And if you can even meditate for 2 minutes and just let your mind go, you're going to see some huge changes. Okay, I am going to talk about really quick here the 10th chakra. Now, some sources will say that the 10th chakra is way, way above 8th and 9th. My source says that it is grounding, and it goes like 1.5 to 4 feet below your feet into the earth. And when the roots really take hold, it goes deeper and deeper the higher you get. And there was a time when I wasn't grounded, and this can cause delusions and confusion, dissociation, and just a sense of not being connected. And this happened to me when I was really, I started writing like over 20 years ago. I had always written, but not like this. And it just consumed me. And then I was a little bit delusional in a way. I was functioning, I was working, as a senior secretary, and this is before my training. And so when I quit this job and moved across state back to Iowa, that's when I went to massage school. It was a spiritual school, and worked on the Reiki and grounding and understanding what was happening to me. But yeah, I think back on that. And so if you let it go, schizophrenia and things like that, that is a mental disorder. But if you are clearly ungrounded for a long, long time, it can come off as symptoms like that, because you do become delusional, and it's frightening. I was never that far, never like that, but I do recall it. So, and this is where we are fully attached to the earth. We are in our bodies when we're grounded. Before and during conception, the 9th and 10th chakras select the physical chromosomes regulating in our genetic makeup. And this is what I spoke of before, the blueprint and the chromosomes and things like that. And so the 9th chakra is associated with the soul sequencing, and the 10th is associated with our ancestral background. These chakras choices will enable us to meet the physical and psychological challenges we will face. This 10th chakra contains all elements of earth, wind, fire, and water. So we can really draw on the world around us. if we're grounded and have a sense of sanity. Not grounded can come off as spacey, or long term can appear as schizophrenia or delusional disorder. And that's what I started off with. So I would recommend doing some research. But after this, Power versus Force, I was going to get into some of the quantum physics, but I think what I'll do first is detail out our energy body and all that entails, like the aura, the rays, things like that. And there are different chakras, not systems, but chakra points throughout our bodies, because we are one big energy source. It's not just the main seven, but those are the ones that people work on and balance. It's our core. Okay, so I'm going to skip the energy work today because I think we've worked on enough. But I will see you again, and next time we will do enlightenment. And thank you for joining me, and go out and change the world. Okay, bye-bye.